we'll jump right into the first emailed in question here. All right, so the question is creating a double RSI crossover level here. So sometimes this is, I think this is most commonly referred to as like a double stochastic crossover, but this time it's going to be the RSI, right? So what this Bloodhound user was trying to do is, we can see here that this is actually the threshold solver. So they managed to correctly identify when the RSI is below 30, but what they really want is a signal when the RSI crosses out of the 30, right? The RSI crosses up. So, and in this case, I believe they wanted a short signal. So they wanted a signal in the opposite direction, right? So a short signal as the indicator crosses above the oversold territory, right? So this applies, for stochastics, the RSI, I guess, the CCI, there's a handful of indicators, right, that have this scale here, right, where you might be looking for the indicator to go oversold, and then crossing out of the oversold, and then alternatively going overbought, right, and then crossing down and out of the overbought. And so you want signals on those crossover points there, right, those crossover levels there. There is a video on this, but it's a really old one with Bloodhound version 1, so we're going to update that old video and get it removed off of YouTube and replace it with the Bloodhound version 2 version here. All right, so here's what we're looking for is a signal when the RSI crosses out of the oversold there, although actually really it's a weak trend, so crossing out of the weak trend there, right? And let's see if we have the opposite here. There we go. All right, so here's a strong trend, and now it's crossing out of the strong trend, actually twice. There we go. So we should be getting two signals there. All right, so that's what we're doing. So let's get Bloodhound open. Since we have this on the chart, let's do the RSI crossing out of the strong trend area. So I'm probably going to say overbought, but technically I think that's wrong for the RSI. So let's see. So we're going to need crossover solvers to do this, right? So let's plug that in and let's give this a name. So this is actually a cross down of the 70 level. So there we go, cross down. All right, input A, that's going to be our oscillating indicator. So let's go plug in the RSI and use the little search box. There we go. And again, I'm just using the default periods. And this time we're actually working with the RSI line there, not the average. So I don't have to change anything. I could just click OK. Now, input B, right? This is where we determine what is the threshold level that the indicator is crossing, right? And this is a threshold level, so it makes sense, that the person asking this was using a threshold solver, but we actually want a crossover. So what we're going to do is input B, we're going to change that to the fixed value. And so that's how we can put in, a threshold value or, a crossover level, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to put in 70 there. There we have it. So we have the cross up and we have the cross down, right? Cross up, cross down. And as asked, this person wants the opposite signal. So when it's crossing down, actually wants a long signal there. So there's two ways I can do this. I could just simply swap that, and there we go. But the problem with the swap is that we also want to use the evaluate here. So I'm going to turn the swap off here and show you. right? So we only want the cross downs. So in that case, right, normally we'd say, okay, we want the short onlys there. Now, if I swap this, actually, yeah, good. All right, actually the swap is disabled right now. There. Yeah, because you don't quite get the results you might expect because if you try and swap it, because you have to evaluate on short only. So let's see here. So we're going to put it on long only, right? But now we have the cross ups. So we need to go into the output. So the right way to do this is we don't want the signal when it crosses the signal in the direction of the cross, right? We want the signal against the direction of the cross. So we're going to highlight that, put in 1, and there we go. So now the cross down has the long output, right? And our evaluate is set to long only. All right, so those are the two key elements is since we want to reverse the signal, because this is the crossover, and more importantly, actually, sorry, it's not because of the crossover, it's because we're using the evaluate and we're isolating to only receive one output, right? Not both. We can't use the swap there, right? So we have to use the appropriate output to achieve this, right? So no shortcuts here. So there we go. There's our cross down and we're getting along. And so now I can copy this one that we've made and paste it. All right. So this time we're looking at the cross up of the 30 level. Let's connect that to the result node so we can see our work and scroll back here. And all right, there we go, right there. And let me move that back over. All right, now also we gotta update the fixed value here for input B, change that to 30 now. And so there's our cross down giving us a long, right? But this is the opposite. So now we need to switch our evaluate to short only. And there we have it. So now our cross up is giving us a short instead of the default long signal there because we're using the crosses against direction. Let's see. All right, so now we have both, right? And we can see, right, we only get one signal or the other. So now we need to combine both of these together with an OR node. Like so. There. And there we have it. There we go. Cross down, we get a long, cross up, we get a short. All right, that's it. Really everything's just kind of a mixing and matching, whether, so if this was the stochastics here, so actually I'll just go ahead and make a copy of this and paste it there, and we'll make a stochastics version of this. There we go. There's our stochastics version. Well, I just renamed it here. So now let's go in and replace the indicators on this. All right, there's our stochastics. And again, I'm just going to use all the defaults here. And we're going to use the %D plot. And let's see, let's replace this solver here, this one down here. Let's also replace the RSI with the stochastics. So do this one more time. Put in our stochastics. Again, all default settings. So we can just click OK, call it good. There. Now this time I'm going to make this kind of the traditional here. So when the stochastics is crossing down out of the overbought area, I'm going to generate, the typical short output there. So that means I need to also reverse my outputs here. there. Oh, hold on. There we go. Put in a 1. And all right, so this one, so the cross down of the 70, right? I switched it to short only, and then changed the crossing output there. So now I need to do the same thing with the stochastics crossing above the 30. So I'm going to switch this to long and set the output there. There we go, cross in direction. And there we have it. So let's see here. Yeah, so it kind of matches up with what price is doing, right? So yeah, we can see that as price is coming down, right, that's going to push the stochastics to oversold, and then price moves up, so it comes out of the oversold, and then yeah, looks like price just whipsawed really quickly into overbought, and then the stochastic comes out of the overbought as price comes down, and we have a short. So all right, so there you go. There's two different kind of versions of this double crossover, kind of technique there with the various oscillators. So there's an RSI, stochastics, and of course, as mentioned there, I think some traders do this with the CCI, and I'm sure there's some other indicators out there as well. So, all right, I'm just going to leave it connected like that.